Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Katherine, and I'm here today speaking with textile artist Cate Irwin Johnson about her show Prettiest Girl. And before we begin, the Art Base is a not-for-profit community arts center, and this year is its 26th. We are grateful to everyone who contributes and engages, and we are who we are because of this vibrant community. Cate, welcome.
Thank you.
We are so very excited to have you in your delightfully playful yet complex body of work, Prettiest Girl, hanging in the Alpenglow exhibition space. This is Cate's first solo exhibition. All works are for sale, and it will be up through Saturday, April 16th. I would just love to get into how you started weaving, because this is, in essence, a weaving show.
Yes. So I started weaving, the first time I ever did it, I was 10 years old at a summer camp. I tried it. I was really frustrated that they wouldn't let me set up the loom on my own, so I never touched it again until I went to college. Colorado College has an amazing arts and craft program, and it was headed by this woman, Jean Steiner, who just is an incredible mentor, teacher, all of that. I got really lucky. I took a lot of classes with her. I spent a lot of time down there. I learned everything I could about weaving in the span of 3 years that I knew about it. And after that, I was not able to stop. I got a loom right out of college for $200 on Facebook Marketplace. It was awful. I spent more time fixing it than I did actually using it. But it helped feed this obsession that I have and this desire I have to create, material objects that are both art and design and everything in between.
Amazing.
Yeah.
At your opening, you spoke a bit about your art making process. Can you go into a little bit more detail about your creative process and how you start at the beginning and where it takes you in your planning? And
I get obsessed with themes really easily, so this show was sort of inspired by a sparkly nail polish that I put on, and then I was trying to figure out what that really meant and why I was obsessed with that prettiest girl phrase. From there, for the past 2 years, I have not been able to sleep very well, so at night I would just think about how I could refine that really silly sentence into really fine works of art, and each piece I would think about it for weeks and weeks and weeks until it solidified. Then I draft all my own patterns. It's my favorite part of weaving. So I would spend a few weeks doing that, and then
on a computer or
by hand. By hand. I have not figured out the software for the weaving patterns, but I will. It's just such a nice process to start something by hand and then make it with this machine by hand, and I love that continuously.
Yeah, the analog process.
Yeah.
That's great. Your show is reflective of a young Cate's experience in a lot of ways, with femininity and coming-of-age tropes, and I wonder if you could talk to us about this show's origins in greater detail.
So this show sort of comes from both, as soon as I graduated college, the pandemic happened, and I found myself returning to creature comforts that I was feeling like when I was, 10 years ago, so when I was 12, 13, 14. That was, silly TV shows, really bad pop music. And I also found myself sort of thinking about what I was feeling at that time and how it was the beginning of a pretty long journey with mental health, but also it was the last time that I could think clearly without that sort of cloud. And I wanted to explore sort of what doubt creeping into a perfect vision of yourself is, and sort of dealing with those emotions and how I've grown with them and how they haven't really left me. But I really wanted to focus in on that sort of 12 to 14 coming of age time when you're just consuming media and you're learning about yourself and you start thinking about how you look to other people. So it seems really heavy for what the show became, but I think just when I'm exploring that in between sort of, I think I'm the prettiest girl in any room, but also I'm really sad and I don't want anyone to know that. That's how the really light pink weavings came from.
You do this really amazing thing where you take a traditional process of making and you've turned it into something fun and playful, but it's something that I think everybody can relate to. Yes. No matter who you are or where you're from, weaving is probably an element of that culture.
Yeah.
So you do this beautiful thing where you're using these contemporary materials, but you're also, you have wood and yarn and you are using a traditional practice to create these beautiful works. And so, when I'm in this space, I feel like I can relate to all of it.
Yeah. I really love that. There's weaving everywhere, and it's every time I learn about a new culture and their new practice, I get really excited. But for my own practice, I'm using sort of traditional American patterns mixed with this really fun new material. And I think that's where the blend is really interesting for me, is I get to sort of explore, you know, my past relations. My great-grandmother was a quilter. My mom is an amazing crochet artist. Like, I feel really connected to the deep history of craft, but I'm really excited about how I can turn it into art and infuse more meaning into it and more emotion, while I'm still sort of following in the footsteps of some really amazing women and men before me. It's really exciting.
Yeah, that's so good. What do you hope someone will take away from this exhibition?
I really love when people
Besides all the pieces, because they're all for sale.
Yes, they are for sale. Please buy my work. I love watching people first view my art for the first time, because there's an immediate sense of joy and happiness that I think all of my pieces bring.
Yes.
When they walk in, I just see this amazing smile on their face, and they're like, this is so much fun. I really love this. But I think the deeper they look into the pieces, they sort of get their own emotions from it, and maybe they see the prettiest girl, and they're like, what does that mean? Why are they reflecting? You know, what does that reflect? And I really hope that people can look at them, see the joy, the immediate joy in it, but start to reflect more on them. Their own personal journeys to wherever they came from, however they were feeling, you know, at the time. What does prettiest girl mean to you? Like, when you walk in, when do you feel beautiful? What did it take to feel that way? And, you know, what are the emotions behind it? Because it can't all be joy. There's got to be a lot of other emotions underneath it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me personally, pink is a challenging color. I think for all of the reasons that you're talking about, and
Totally.
now that I'm an adult, I feel differently about it, of course, but when I was a child, I actually really didn't like pink for a lot of these reasons, and, you know, gender identity and the idea that if you're female, then you have to follow this path. And I love that you have found a way to talk about that through this process.
I definitely went on a similar journey of when I was really young, my nickname was Pinky, because it was the thing that made me happiest. But then I grew up and I was like such a tomboy, and I didn't want anyone to think that about me, and I wanted to only wear neutral colors. And then I kept growing up and realized that, you know, I really love being girly. I really love making girly art, or however you want to catalog it, because I don't necessarily think it's only that, but it does definitely represent a sort of adolescence femininity that, you know, I struggled with, but in the end I came to accept and really enjoy presenting that version of myself.
Yeah, I love that. Will you continue making art on this subject?
I think I will. There's a few more pieces that I have been thinking about and dreaming about for, you know, 2 years that I need to get out of my system. But I really want to explore more like what obsession means to me more than anything else, and want versus need and all of those sort of subjects. If I can add that to the current practice and the current themes I'm working on, I'd be really excited, and working on a lot of really fun pieces right now about that same subject.
Cool. Yeah. Do you feel like those pieces came out of creating this show, or they're just like a natural next step, or things that you had in your mind that are just now coming out?
I think it is both a sort of reaction to the pieces that I've made, sort of working more with grids and windows and what those can display, you know, but also definitely they're part of the same body of work that I feel like they would have fit well, but, you know, it's hard to make that many big weavings. Take a lot of time.
Yes. Excellent. What's next for you?
So I will always be an artist. It's not something I can get rid of, but I'm actually pursuing a degree in library science. I'm looking forward to how I can make archive work and artistic practice mesh. A lot of my favorite artists are both of those things. I'm really excited about, you know, the systems I can create and the research that I can help with. I think it will add to my practice immensely. Yeah.
You know, I don't know you very well, but I've had the pleasure of getting to know you better. And it seems like all of this is meticulous and planned and systematic, and like you are creating your own systems in this playful body of work.
It's something I keep turning back to, is I just love the planning part almost more than the making, and creating systems is really satisfying to me. So I'm looking forward to seeing how I can do that in a, for a different community, not just myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to share with us?
Thank you for listening, and
Yeah.
come see my show.
Come see Cate's show. It'll be up through April 16th. Again, all works are for sale, and we hope to see you.